The Supreme Court has weighed in on qualified immunity, sort of hoping they would at some point, but unfortunately it didn't go in the right direction. They've ruled in favor of police officers in 2 different cases involving qualified immunity. That, by the way, is the series of legal precedents that protect government officials, including police officers, accused of violating constitutional rights. And isn't it amazing when the government has baked in protections to protect people who violate your constitutional rights? It almost makes you think they're not rights if the government is allowed to violate them however they want. Anyway, the court overturned lower court decisions without ordering full briefing and argument. A sign didn't see them as close calls. There were no dissents. Now, previously, Sotomayor and Clarence Thomas had criticized qualified immunity. I guess not anymore. I guess it was unanimous. In this particular case, the 2 cases involved police officers accused of using excessive force. In one, officers used beanbag rounds and a knee on the suspect's back to subdue him. In the second, officers shot and killed a suspect after he approached them while raising a hammer. And so this was an opportunity for the Supreme Court to weigh in on qualified immunity, and they have. They've, not only just not, like it'd be one thing if they were just like, just leave it be. They upheld it, overturning lower courts that were willing to question qualified immunity, Nina Turner. And it looks like not only do we not get any legislation over the past year, the Supreme Court clearly is on the side of the status quo for more police brutality.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth about again, this goes back to the Congress. The Supreme Court, I am not surprised about what happened at the Supreme Court, but what is happening in that Congress right now, the George Floyd Act, ain't going anywhere. And then when they were talking about, because they're not even talking about it anymore. But when they were talking about it, they stopped talking about qualified immunity. And then when they did bring it up, I think it was Congressman Clyburn who said, well, we could pass a bill without it, pretty much. So that was the telltale sign right there. And then the negotiations that were going on in the Senate, as you recall, between Senator Scott and also Senator Booker, just absolutely went nowhere. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So we have to elect more people who are willing to absolutely challenge the status quo. And doing away with qualified immunity does not hurt good law enforcement individuals. I need people to understand that. But you know what? Having people who took an oath to protect and serve just be able to use violence and force any way that they see fit without a consequence is wrong, and it makes law enforcement less safe because people are scared and they do not trust. And it's just, so I'm not surprised by the Supreme Court. They're following the lead of the Congress.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing. Just like it's so frustrating because look, people tend towards apathy, and Americans more so than others. But in this case, we had the biggest social movement of our lives, sustained for months. When it is hard to get something sustained for a week, they did it for months. They did it across the country. They did it despite being brutalized by cops in the streets, despite infiltration by Boogaloo boys trying to start race wars and all that. But they did it, and I'm not saying nothing got done because you never know. I mean, maybe you have a Cory Bush eventually that comes out of the movement. Maybe you have people who run and win in elections, but Congress has decided, hey, we did our photo with traditional African garb. We renamed a street, everybody. What more do you want out of us? And now the Supreme Court's like, we're gonna do less.
Yeah. Don't get me started about that garb stuff. Lord have mercy. That was one of the saddest moments in Congress, as far as I'm concerned, to see them put on that and then kneel and do all that foolishness. Meanwhile, Kaepernick took all the hell. Took all the hell to really stand up against systems within the NFL, which reflect systems within our larger country. I mean, we could do a whole show on just this topic alone. Supreme Court, very disappointing decision, unless maybe they know something we don't know, John. Maybe they do on this, I don't know. But the fact that the Congress is not acting.
100%.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.